Hi, welcome to Autism and Enlightenment. I'm Tish. And so it's been a little while since I put on a video. Kind of wanted to jump on here and just do an update. Um, the last time I did a video, I was pretty frustrated, and things have since kind of leveled out, which is really nice. And what I have been settling into more and more is what I've been working on, which is being kind to myself. Understanding that there's a reason why I feel like I speak a different language than other people around me, and giving them more space as well, that we see things differently, we talk about things differently, we experience things differently, and that's okay. So finding more grace for myself, finding more grace for other people around me, that's been really helpful. So kindness. And now that I know that it's autism and ADHD, and I have a better understanding of it, even when I have all these projects that I'm working on, and work has always been my safe place, my comfort zone. And but I've also found, it's like I've always had this voice in my head, finding more laughter and joy. But in the midst of all this chaos, for me to keep working is kind of like Lao Tzu saying, stay in the center of the circle and to let all things take their course. So by my focusing on work, it's kind of like I can let other things take their course while I'm focused on whatever it is. But I also recognize how much joy in other ways that I've been missing out on. And I've never been one for playtime. So trying to get myself to open up more to play, and I'll let you know how that goes. I'm not really successful at it yet, but I'm processing what that looks like. I enjoy being around the people in my life. They bring me joy. But as far as like playful type of joy, I don't really understand playful joy. So, not that I've never done it. Like, I don't know. Anyway, I'm still processing it. It's hard to explain. Um, but in the interim, since the last video, again, it's being kind to myself. It is part of that kindness is knowing that instead of taking on all the pressure of all these things that I need to do, I am allowing myself the kindness, the leniency to plan and prepare more of my energy, and this day I'm doing this, or that day I'm doing that, etc. Where my clients fall, that kind of a thing, or classes that I do, knowing that I don't have to get it all done now. And before, I would beat myself up if I didn't get an arbitrary amount of stuff done in a particular amount of time. Knowing that it's okay, things are gonna get done in divine timing, right? So I'm working with those kinds of things. Hopefully this is all making sense. So things just things feel calmer these days, and it feels really good. It feels really good. And I'm getting my footing more and more. And as I said, to be more gracious with others as I'm being gracious with myself has been amazing. I've spoken a lot over the years about being authentically you, for each of us being our authentic selves. And I didn't know that this was a blind spot of mine. And speaking of blind spots, it's like I'm giving myself space now when I lose my words. There are some times where I have the words, but I just can't speak them. I can't text them. I can't write them. I have my words, but they're stuck. And then there are other times where I lose my words. And then, instead of getting frustrated with myself, I know that those words, they're going to come back around. It's like they're just spinning around my mind and they'll present themselves again. And that's okay. And allowing space for that being okay. And, I've always just told myself, well, if it's important, I'll remember it again. Here's another thing that I was already doing, but not as much as I'm doing now. Because my mind races a lot. I'm one of those where, did I blow out all the candles? Is everything locked up? I've got to double, triple check the locks, that kind of a thing. And I find the more that I say the words out loud that, yep, I just blew out the candles. Yep, I just locked the door. That by speaking them out loud, it helps reassure me that those things were done. I'm still going around, checking things. Is that unplugged? Is that turned off? That kind of a thing. But again, I'm saying them as I go so I can feel confident when I leave instead of, and I'm thinking about my, my studio, or even when I'm leaving home, so I don't have to turn around and go back and double check those things. And sometimes I would get anxious after a long day at work of, am I remembering everything? And then I would get frustrated because it's hard to remember it all, right? So, and then I would get upset with myself because it's taken me so long to remember, and getting the clarity and giving myself the time and the space to just breathe. And if I need 15 minutes to think about what it is before I leave, then that's what I do. And I mentioned before about, being at the store. If I'm looking for something and I can't find it, and I'm scanning the shelves over and over, and I would get anxious, concerned about if other people are thinking, what's wrong with this person that she's taken so long standing there at these shelves. Even in those times now at the store, I give myself that time. And if I start to get that old feeling of how people are probably, most of the time, like, I don't care what people think, but it's with that kind of stuff, it would bother me because I didn't understand it for myself. But now that I understand it, it bothers me so much less. I rarely get bothered with it. So anyway, so it not that I still don't have a lot of anxiety that I hold, especially as I'm trying to articulate what I'm trying to get across. But and it's funny because most things I can, they're my special interests, right? I can go on and on literally for hours. But when I am trying to speak about, like, I can talk about things that happen to me, but in the moment, talking about my emotions, how I perceive things, sometimes just throw me off when it's more of an emotional thing. So anyway, so for those that are watching, if you have any suggestion or tips, if you're somebody that you have been going through your autism diagnosis and you have tips or techniques, I would love if you would put those into the comment section. And while I'm thinking about tips and techniques too, one of the things that I've used in the past that looks more fuller now is when I feel like I'm really heady, I'm up in my mind a lot, I'll do a lot of tapping of my legs or my arms, just kind of get myself back down into my body, getting more of that mind-body connection going again. All right. So on that note, I'm going to go. Thank you for watching. And until next time, be well.